What's up, guys? This is CJ, and we are back to talk about another episode review for Life After Lockup. Now, this was the fourth installment of the four-part miniseries that they gave us from the OG cast, and this was season 3, episode 12, called Three's a Crowd. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, this episode starts with Tennyson and Lamar. They're in the backyard getting this blow up pool together for Priscilla's baptism that Tennyson is going to perform. And I guess that's a part of his Mormon studies or his mission or something. He is allowed, with the help of a Mormon priest or pastor or whatever their clergy is, to, as long as they're assisting him, he is able to perform the baptism. Now, they're at the pool, and it's kind of weird because they talk about how they're blowing up this pool for this baptism, and there's literally barbed wire above their heads on the fence line. So they're getting everything together. They take a break for some reason. They go inside to use the bathroom. And while they're inside, there's like this gust of wind, or the air pump might have blew away from the pool itself, which caused it to fly over. And I'm guessing that it hit the barbed wire and might have popped. I don't think that it got too much air and burst, but I'm thinking it hit the barbed wire. But needless to say, when they tell Andrea, they call her and tell her that the pool is busted, and she can't figure out why. I would have took it back personally. I would have just taken it back to the store and exchanged it. I would have told them, we tried to blow this thing up and it had a hole in it, and I want to exchange it. I would have exchanged it for a new one. I'm notorious for taking stuff back or exchanging it or whatever, but anyway, Lamar gets some Flexi Seal, and he is fixing it, and Andrea is happy. Now, Lamar tells us that Dulo wants to come to the baptism, and he knows that that's a bad idea because Andrea has a real huge problem with Dulo offering Tennyson the weed last episode, or the episode before that, whatever. So she wants no parts of Dulo, but Dulo is a part of the family and wants to be there for Priscilla's special occasion. Now, he does indeed, show up the day of the baptism, but beforehand, Andrea is so excited. They have some of their family and friends there from both sides of the families. The Mormon priest is there, and he is prepared to assist Tennyson in the baptism. And Lamar's kind of struggling because Lamar really doesn't know if he wants to bear witness or come down to see her get baptized, just because he does not really agree with the Mormon religion and doesn't necessarily want Priscilla to grow up in that religion. But to kind of compromise, Andrea's idea was to get some kente cloth and pin it to the back of Priscilla's headband or something, just to kind of incorporate their heritage with her baptismal dress or something. But long story short, she goes and she gets baptized. But Andrea talks to Dulo, who did show up, and she was just kind of going off on him, and she was like, you want my son to be a drug addict? You want my son to be like, and she was just over the top as usual. But Dulo explained to her that he was just joking with Tennyson. He wasn't really gonna give Tennyson the weed. He knew Tennyson was a strong enough guy to resist, and that she's taught him, well enough to resist the drugs or whatever. But she realizes that Dulo showed up high and that she would be completely wasting her time trying to argue with him. So she just agreed. She let him stay. And he got a chance to see Priscilla get baptized. Everybody did. It was just a joyous occasion had by all. And there wasn't really much to them this episode besides the baptism. And they gave us a little follow-up about Lamar. Lamar was still trying to work on a record deal because we know Lamar is an aspiring rapper. And Tennyson has flipped the script a little bit because Andrea was ready for Tennyson to go away to his mission, but Tennyson doesn't want to go. So that's telling me that that's going to be something that comes up in the next episode, or when their season starts back up, the official Life After Lockup. So we'll just have to wait and see. So then we go over to Lacey. Lacey's at the OBGYN and she's getting an ultrasound. And so the ultrasound tech is in there and they're kind of probing, or not necessarily probing, but they're going over her stomach, looking for the baby. And then they call in I don't know if she's the doctor. She had to be the doctor. She comes in and she was kind of scaring me, and I know she was scaring Lacey because like she was trying to use her words very carefully without saying anything that may upset or startle Lacey. So she was asking her, you know, is Shane here? Because she thinks that, you know, what she has to tell them needs to be explained, and she would prefer to explain it to the both of them together. And so they go and they sit at a table, and basically what she tells them is that they are having triplets. I'm sorry. They're having 3 babies. 3 babies on top of the 3 that that Lacey already has. So that's going to be 6 children in the Lacey Shane household. Shane does not work, as we later learn from Daddy. I thought he had a job. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that he did have a job, because why was Lacey making him lunch? And what was she packing lunches for back in the other season, for him to go away to do what? But I thought he was working, but obviously he's not working. How was he affording to stay in the hotel that they stayed in, that he stayed in when she put him out to move John in? I got questions. If I'm wrong, somebody leave it in the comments and let me know where I went wrong. But anyway, they're excited. And what was kind of crazy to me was they were taking certain precautions because of COVID-19, but they weren't wearing like masks, or if they were wearing them, they weren't wearing them properly. There was just all kind of crazy stuff going on. And this is in a medical setting, which was kind of disturbing to me. It's one thing for us regular people to be out and not really pay attention or be on top of what we need to do. But these are medical professionals, and one had her mask on, the lady actually performing the ultrasound. But the doctor, she was wearing hers like below her nose, which doesn't really do anything. And Lacey didn't have one on at all, and she's the one with child. So I thought that was strange, but whatever. But anyway, they go to Dad's house because that's where the other 3 children are, and that's where they are quite a bit. So they go and they bring in the children and they let everybody know that mommy is pregnant again. And so the kids are excited. And then they tell Dad that they're not only having 1 child, not 2 children, but they're having 3. And Daddy's reaction was just Jesus, because he knows, okay, first of all, this fool is not working. Lacey can probably start an OnlyFans or something, a weird foot fetish or something for some people willing to give her money. She's capable of taking care of herself, but his concern is Shane and what am I calling him? His name is Shane. And what he'll do to take care of her and the rest of the children. So he knows he has to get a job, blase, blase. He believes he can step up and be the man that she needs him to be. And we later find out that John's getting out 4 months before her due date. So that was pretty much their story. So then we go back to Brittany and her sister, who are still at the apartment going off on mom. Mom's out on the patio just looking absolutely horrible. Still high from what I can see. Definitely, as Brittany said, her pupils are still dilated and she's all wild and weird acting. And so they just decide that, you know, they got to leave mom where she is. You know, she tries to guilt trip the daughter because the daughter tells her that she's going to move out. And she's asking her, well, how do you expect me to pay $1,000 rent on my own? And she's trying to guilt the daughter into sticking around. But they know that they got to let mom hit rock bottom before she can actually want the help that everybody's been trying to give her. She's going to have to take care of herself. And then come find us when you got your stuff together. But anyway, the sister goes to pack her stuff. She's going to leave. They leave mama at the house. So then back at Brittany's house, she's talking to the sister. And the sister is kind of teeter-tottering. You know, she doesn't want to leave because she's not trying to mess her credit up. Because I take it the apartment, they're probably co-signers on the apartment. And she knows that if she lets her mom get evicted, that also goes, you know, on her credit report. And she's 21 and she's just starting out. She doesn't really want to be messed up. But Brittany's like, hey, I got 4 felonies. So, you know, or three or four, however many she had. And, you know, it's no different. Imagine, you know, trying to get through life like that. So the sister kind of understands. And she knows that she's going to have to go back to Alaska, completely get away from mom, not even be tempted to come and try to save her. And we hear from Marcelino for a very short time of this episode. And he knows what Brittany's going through because he went through the same thing with his mom. And he also believes, okay, your approach hasn't been working. Y'all are going to have to let mom hit rock bottom so that she can make the changes necessary. If she wants to see her grandchildren, it sucks that she's not around to experience this, you know, them laughing, having fun, growing up. But she's going to definitely have to work on herself if she wants to be a part of any of our lives. So they leave her where she is. And as for their update, her mom's whereabouts were unknown. So they don't know if she's getting help or not. So then we go to Angela and Tony. Well, Tony is who we start with. He actually surprisingly goes to see Tommy. He pulls up on Tommy. Tony did a lot of pulling up on people this episode, and it was just absolutely crazy. So he goes to see Tommy. Tommy's surprised to see him because they don't like each other, and he knows how Tommy feels about him. So he shows up, and I guess he just believes that if he goes to see Tommy and gives him this sob story or whatever, that he'll win Tommy over and Tommy will help him get Angela back. But it could not have gone more opposite than what it went. Tommy kept it all the way 100 with him and let him know, you know, I don't like you. I don't like you for Angela, and it's probably good that y'all aren't together anymore. Angela has moved on, and as a matter of fact, she's with a whole nother dude, another convict. You know, he was locked up and she was talking to him at the same time she was talking to you. She was talking to him first, actually. And, you know, he just spilled the beans. And Tony was just flabbergasted. He was like, oh, my God, what? No, that's a lie, and blah, blah, blah. So he gets up, knocking Tommy shit over. And Tommy like, hey, you need to sit down. So Tommy put him in check and made him sit down. And he sat back down. But he basically told him, look, y'all are through. Y'all are over. She has moved on. You need to accept it. You need to get out of her life. And He was not having any of that. So he goes back to the motel where he's been staying. Oh no, he goes to Angela's house first. He goes over there, pulls up on her, and now he's trying to check her, talking about, what is this I hear about you being with somebody else? So she was like, well, Tony, I never filed the marriage license, so technically we're not together. You messed up. It's over. It's done. I've been talking to dude long before you, and you couldn't get it together. So I'm back talking to him now. And Tony's like, you love him? She was like, yeah, I love him. And that was like a punch to the gut for Tony. He was sick. So he's in there knocking cameras down again. He come over her house knocking shit down, just wilding out. So she made him leave. He got out. He goes back to the motel. He's blowing her up. She's not answering the phone. We are seeing a completely different Angela this season than what we have seen in the past, because Angela is over Tony. It seems like she's not willing to give him another chance because she has this Ross guy. So she's chilling. She gets a phone call, a collect call. She knows those numbers all too well. She answers the phone. You got a collect call from the such and such correctional facility, and she accepts the charges. It's Ross. Ross done got locked back up. Ross says that it was a mistaken identity. They thought he was somebody who did some robberies across town, and so the police roughed him up. He got assaulted by the cops and blase. But the charges, like, he got charged with assaulting an officer amongst some other stuff. So something tells me that Ross was doing some illegal activity that he didn't have any business doing, got caught. Now they locked his ass back up. So now he needs Angela. He's telling her, don't leave him. She's telling him she can't do another prison sentence with him. She doesn't have it in her, and he loves her, and he really needs her and all this. So yeah, of course you need her now, because now you need somebody to put money on your books, and you know that Angela is dumb enough to do it. So we'll see what comes of that. But she just says he broke her heart all over again. And they show her in her update going up to what looked to be a motel. So she probably is going to end up going back to Tony. And now that Ross is out of the picture for however long he's out, and they're going to be back together. But didn't y'all find that shit funny how Tony had the nerve to be mad at her after all the times he cheated with the whores and the prostitutes and the lying and the drugs and all this stuff? He was so heartbroken, so mad about her and Ross. I just thought that was extremely funny, because you had been out doing your own dirt, and she just kind of kept her dirt under wraps a little better. Now that you know, all of a sudden, oh, she cheated, and we took vows and all this crazy shit, like you hadn't already done something in the first place. But that's neither here nor there. So we're going to move on from them. So then we get to Michael and Sarah. Michael's like, Sarah, get out my damn way. I'm about to go see my kids. He goes into the party with his gifts for the baby. And it is just completely awkward. Everybody is just staring at him. And the best friend, who I just absolutely cannot stand, she got on my damn nerves. She annoys the hell out of me. Okay, we get that you don't like Michael, but every scene that they ask you about does not have to be about your hate for Michael. Okay, we know Michael is a sorry dad. We know that he can be better, but that's Sarah's fight. It's not yours. Keep your ass out of it. But anyway, the kids were very excited to see their dad. Malcolm, for some reason, kept trying to force this interaction. He would get close to Michael, and Michael would notice it and would intentionally walk away, because that's not why he was there. He was there to see his daughters. He wasn't there to be blindsided by Sarah's new man. So he intentionally kept swerving Malcolm. Now, Michael, I guess, could feel the energy. You know, people were staring at him and they're probably talking about him and whatnot. But that's to be expected considering how absent you've been. But long story short, he leaves. When he leaves, you know, Sarah's wondering, you know, why he left. And he's just like, you know, I had to go. That wasn't a situation for me to be in. And I don't think it's right that you put me in that situation where he was there and you trying to force an introduction, and it was just not right. And so he left because he didn't want to be around Malcolm. He tells her that once everything is over, she needs to call him. He's going to come and get his girls, and he's going to do something separate with them on his own. He calls his dad. His dad kind of talks sense into him, telling him, hey, you might not want to just pop up at Sarah's place because it could be bad, you know, but you did right, you know, leaving and not causing a scene. He was trying to talk sense into Michael. So Michael, I guess, decides from the dad's advice to call Sarah first. Call her first. Let her know you want to come get the girls. Keep all the drama down to an absolute minimum because you are there for your girls, whatever. So he calls her later, and Malcolm's still at the house. And Malcolm, he's kind of concerned because he feels like Sarah and Michael aren't all the way done yet. And so he's got that thought in the back of his mind. He asks Sarah about it, and Sarah convinces him, or she assures him that she loves him and that she and Michael are completely done. But anyway, Michael calls and he wants to come and get the girls, and she's telling him he cannot come get them. He can't come by because Malcolm is there, and he is bound and determined. He's telling her he doesn't care who's there. She's not going to stop him. Malcolm's not going to stop him. He's coming to see his girls, and that's that. But they leave us with that cliffhanger in their kind of update. They just basically let us know that Sarah claims that she loves Malcolm and blase, but she still has not filed the divorce papers. So she's still married to Michael. And that was pretty much the episode. It was a little longer. It was like an hour and a half. And then they gave us a sneak peek of the new cast, their upcoming second half of their season, which will probably be very action-packed. So I am looking forward to that. If I left anything out, or if you want to share your thoughts on any of the cast, I would love to hear it in the comments below. Also, do not forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel so you'll be here for all the other content that I put out. And I thank you guys for spending your Friday night with me, and I will see you in the next review. Peace.